When we're young, we see our lives in the most simple patterns. The lines we expect to follow are defined and straight. The outlines of our lives in black and white. But those of us who've been in this world for some time now know it's never that easy. When we discover those unexpected turns and curves that life can throw is different for every person, every individual. For Karen Slater, it was the birth of her second child.
They left me alone for a while, and I wondered how long it would take to put a pillow over her head, how long it would take before she would stop breathing. And the only thing I thought of was not that this was wrong. I just wondered how long I'd be in jail and how much of my son's life I would miss.
They say it's perfectly natural to react in such a way, but Karen didn't learn that until months later when she spoke to other mothers facing the same challenges, same grief. They call it the death of expectations, and for Karen, that's exactly what it was. Melanie, little Melanie, just a day into her life, would never be like other children, the doctors explained. She had Down syndrome, and to Karen, just 23 years old at the time, it was the same as saying her daughter had died.
Because all I could think of is her life was going to be so hard. Her life was going to be so hard.
But as time passed, Karen and her husband Paul came to realize the expectations weren't dead, they just changed. And within those lines they were forced to follow, they began to see color.
She was the first kid mainstreamed out of our intermediate, and they didn't know what to do with her.
we had some super teachers. So.
Yes, absolutely. Wonderful, wonderful people.
That outline of life that had seemed so cruel and dark began to lighten with each accomplishment, each expectation exceeded. Melanie learned to walk, and they'd add another shade, to talk, and they'd add another hue. And by looking at life from a different perspective, they discovered the family they'd created was something beautiful, something wonderful. Instead of focusing on the lines they'd been given and what they couldn't do, they focused on how they colored them in.
She's so independent. She's so able to do so many things, and she brings so much joy into our lives and to a lot of people's lives.
What would you like, sir?
26 years after the day she was born, Melanie is still living at home, but she's working as a dishwasher 5 days a week. Up every morning before the sun and in by 7. She's never late. It may not be the life her mother dreamt for her, but it is the one she hoped for. She has duties and responsibilities like anyone else, and she has a boss named Tess, who she loves dearly. For 9 years, it's been this way, earning a fair living at the Super Bowl indoor. But it's not the way she does her job that everyone talks about. It's what she does outside of work. Melanie has one passion in life.
Coloring is my favorite thing, heavy. It's my dream. It's my future.
And that's coloring. Not the scribbles of a child, but the beautiful markings of an artist. It's kind of a metaphor for her entire life. Someone else gives her the lines, and she colors them in. But with all things, and especially with people with Down syndrome, there are rules. The first and most important is always follow the rules.
The crayon can only be colored down to the paper.
It has to be sharp.
You can't peel the paper back.
No.
And you cannot sharpen a crayon.
Never.
And if a crayon breaks in the box,
The whole box.
the whole box has to go.
Cannot be broken.
That is the rule, yeah, that's in concrete.
So how much do you color?
A lot.
We could start a wax factory.
You have a lot of rules, you know.
Yeah, I do.
But the golden rule, whether it's crayons or colored pencils, it has to be Crayola. Nothing else is acceptable.
One time we tried to sneak an off-brand in there, and we knew about it right away.
Every week, she goes through one box of 96. So you buy a lot of crayons,
Yeah.
and you pay for them yourself.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
I know.
But it's worth spending, huh?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Worth spending because this is what Melanie enjoys most. A simple pleasure, really, but an important one to her. Kidding aside, though, all is not as it seems. Melanie has deeper worries than broken crayons and worn tips. If there is anyone that appreciates the importance of lines, it's Melanie Slater. All her life, she's colored them in, but never gone outside them. Now, the life's lessons her mother learned 26 years ago, Melanie may be forced to learn herself. The line she sees her life following may not be there much longer.
You don't want her to shut down the business, is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
The Super Bowl is for sale. Tess has been trying to sell it for years, but recently someone made an offer. It's not just her job Melanie worries about, it's Tess. She's not just a boss, she's her best friend. It's easier for most of us to move on, but Down syndrome sets rules and draws lines that are much harder to break.
I like money and my Tess, no. Because I don't want to lose her. I don't want to lose Tess, it's my boss.
For all her coloring and obstacles she's overcome, this will be her greatest challenge. Learning the way we want things to go isn't always the way they happen. Learning it's not the lines we're given that are important, but the way we color them in. Indoor, Brett Thomas, News 8.
Going back,